Hello. Today I want to talk about the cowboy. Um, he was like your classic cowboy type with the hat and the jeans and the boots and like his lifestyle and all that stuff. Um, this one really threw me for a loop. Oh, I have an Earl Grey again today. With bergamot in it. I just kind of want to smell it. This one really threw me for a loop because he really fooled me. And I had gotten to a point in my dating that I was feeling pretty confident that I could spot the really tricky ones, from far away. But, I guess let this be a lesson to you that you're probably never as good at catching them as you think you are. And you should always be on your guard, no matter how much you have practiced and how much you have grown in that area, because there's always going to be one that has figured out a different code that you haven't cracked yet. And I mean, I'll be honest, I'm embarrassed with how hard I fell for this man, but he came on strong again with like the love bombing tactics and texting every day, acting like a gentleman, being very sweet, remembering things that I said to him, remembering my favorite everything. And somewhere along the line, I had gotten the impression that if a man introduced you to people in his life, that meant that he was serious. It does not mean that, because there are subsets of people in a man's life, and I would say if he's not introducing you to anyone in his life, that is like a red flag, or at least like a yellow flag. Slow down and see why. But just because he's introducing you to his buddy or his friend, or he's taking you to his favorite dining spot, or you happen to like meet a child in passing, that does not mean that he is serious about you. In fact, it could mean, especially if you get like the tingles in the back of your neck, it could mean that those people are used to him bringing all the women around. And this is just his MO, to help them feel comfortable and confident that he really means it. But this man went so far as to dream of a future where we joined houses and talked about how, I wouldn't have to work as much and I could focus more on my kids. His kids were grown, so, he was just going to take care of me and, let me take care of my kids kind of thing. And it was just, it felt like a dream come true. And it honestly, in some ways, felt too good to be true, which it was. I mean, once he got what he was looking for from me, he was gone. And it was kind of crazy because in this case, it was crazy because I, read the writing on the wall and realized that he was lying, licked my wounds, and did what I needed to do, right? And so I made it through the heartbreak and was stronger for it and all that stuff, right? But then I heard from him like 10 months later. He messaged me because I had blocked him on everything at that point. He messaged me, found me on Instagram or something. And he messaged me, or maybe he commented, actually. Now it's all coming back. This is a long time ago. He commented on a post. I think I said something about how relationships and dating were just not the way that they used to be, and it was getting really frustrating, and I was kind of tired of the men not being who they claimed to be, or something like that. I don't know. I post like that a lot because it's irritating. But he messaged and said, well, I really liked you, but you never called me back. And so I, like, the old me would have been like, oh, he actually does want me. Like, he is interested. Like, maybe I did something wrong. But no, I had a very clear recollection of the fact that I had reached out to him several times, and he had, in fact, ghosted me as soon as he got what he wanted. No matter how I went through all, of the check this, check that, make sure this, and I'll do all these things that all the experts say are supposed to guarantee that the man is serious. I did all the things. He checked literally all the boxes. It didn't matter. He had learned enough about it to know what he needed to do to seem serious. And that experience to me really opened my eyes to a different subset of man who is the most conniving and I feel like the most toxic, because they wrap you around in this world where you think you're going along on a certain pathway and you're not even in the same car, like you're completely clueless. And looking back on it, I realized that like my spidey senses were tingling. I had, the hair standing up on the back of my neck when he would introduce me to people or say things about the future, or, tell me that his son sometimes stays in the RV when he has people over. Like, how do you have these things that are normal if this isn't something that's normal in your life? Like, I was so wrapped up in how sweet he was being and how he made me feel and how much fun we were having that I didn't take time to look at why I was kind of having these warning signs in the back of my head. So yeah, I guess let that be a lesson to you that even if everything lines up, that doesn't mean that he is one of the good ones. And if it lines up too perfectly, it's probably orchestrated and he's probably manipulating the situation so that it seems like he's one of the good ones. So yeah, it definitely made me stop and learn to investigate those feelings of uneasiness a little bit more before moving forward with something. Like, why am I feeling uneasy about this? At face value, it seems fine, but what's going on behind the scenes? And, like slowing things down and not communicating to the other person what my boundaries are and the things that I'm looking for. That's when I stopped telling men what I'm looking for, because I realized that they were using it against me. And I've heard over the last couple years, more and more women are realizing that the more you tell the man, the more they're just going to use it as ammunition against you, of like trying to convince you that they're the one that you want. It's still a game to them. So don't communicate what you're looking for. Just like keep it to yourself. I guess it's the difference between rummy and gin rummy. One of them you show your hand as you're working and the other one you keep it quiet. So keep it quiet, keep it close to your chest, what you're looking for before you decide to move forward in one direction or another with a man. Because if he's a good man, he's going to respect that about you. And if he's not a good man and he's pushing for it, then you have your answer and he's not someone you want to spend your time with.